and good morning again. What a great day it is to be alive. I'm just wondering this morning, is there anybody that will just agree with me that it's just a blessing to be found amongst the land of the living? Welcome this morning to those on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got some great tools in store for you. We want to say welcome also to those who are joining this morning by way of our YouTube channel. Good morning again for those who are calling in. We're just happy this morning that God thought it not robbery to give us another chance to be found on the wake up list. I am excited. Listen, we got 60 minutes and I don't want to waste any of those minutes because we've got some great practical tools for you on today. Again, I want to ask you to help us to help get the word out. So let's just go ahead and show you how you can join us on our broadcast each Saturday. Good morning, Sister Marlo. Always delightful to see you. And so here it is right here. Good morning, Sister Satra as well. Listen, again, you can join us every Saturday on Facebook Live as those who are already chiming in. You can also join us by way of our YouTube channel, Dr. K.O. Williams Ministry. And then also you can join us by way of a phone. I want to say that we're committed to giving you some real talk. This is not for someone who is a very thin-skinned, some young teenager, but this is some real talk around some very real topics. And guess what? We're unapologetic about it. And on this 60-minute broadcast, you're going to be hearing us address some real life issues. Right now, we're in a series on looking for love in all the wrong places. We've been thankful that many of you have been chiming in, letting us know that we're on the right path. Good morning again to all those of you who are just joining in with us. I want to say also, this is straight, honest, transparent conversation. Listen, this is not for the faint of heart, but I tell you what, if you're interested in tools and resources to help you along the way to address some real life issues, this is the place for you. Good morning, Sister Margaret Washington. What a delight it is to see you this morning. Also, we're going to be giving you some practical tools. Today is committed to only practical tools. You definitely want to try to grab a pen and a paper because we're trying to set you up for success. I want to arm you with tools to help make more effective relationships. Listen, it doesn't matter whether it's relational or not. The reality is there are some practical tools. And then also keep in mind, we're getting a lot of responses from you on our registration line as well. Many of you are asking for additional topics to be talked about. And so if there are topics that you want us to dig and dive deeper into, all you got to do is engage our registration line. And I promise you, those comments will come straight to us as well. Good morning, Sister Ethel of Fredericks, all the way from Virginia. This morning, I'm here this morning. Again, I want to ask you to do me one last quick favor, and we're going to dive right in because I've got a lot of practical tools we want to try to get to you this morning. My good friend, Dr. Gloria Apostle Samuel, all the way from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And there it is, my mentor, Mr. Gene Flanagan. What a delight it is this morning. Listen, if you are in a relationship of any kind, I've got some practical tools, I promise you, that will take you to the next level. Somebody gonna say, where you been and how did you get these tools? I'm so happy to put them into your accessibility this morning. How to have healthy, happy relationships. Listen, I have all the tools. We've been doing a lot of digging for you, and I just want to set you up for success this morning. Do me one last favor. If you will check in with us, just say good morning. We want to give you a shout out so that everybody across the country will be able to hear you being shouted out this morning, just as we have with our other friends. And then if you have any comments, if we share something you like, by all means, we welcome your comments. This is a space of real talk. Listen, We're open and honest. And then finally, would you do me a kind favor? Somebody you know, I already know that you know somebody in your circle that needs some tools to help them better function in their relationship. Just hit that share button and I promise you, you'll set them free. So let's get started. We talked last week about diving deep down into boundaries. We're going to pivot just a bit today for some practical tools. We'll come back to that boundary conversation because it's fertile. It is definitely needed. And I'm telling you, so many of you have contacted me this past week saying, please give us more. But I had to pause because there are many of you who are saying, I need some practical tools. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to tell you about a book. Listen, I told you before that I'm the person, if I know, I want you to know. Here's a book called How We Love. It's a workbook. And the reality is the workbook gives you some exercises that you can practice. You can see the author is Mylan and Yerkovich. There it is right there as well. You will certainly be well served to get a copy of this book. We're going to give you some practical tools today. And then also, I have another resource book called The 7 Secrets to Healthy, Happy Relationships. There it is, right there, my friends. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be set free today. Let's get started. This book is about how to help people become better listeners and also better speakers, because I'm convinced that either one of those can set off a bad relationship. Have you ever been in a relationship where you're at work, you're at church, you're at home, you're in the community, you're with family, or you're in a romantic relationship and you're talking to someone, but they don't hear? Ooh, I'm already talking good to somebody this morning. The reality is that there are two contributors in the relationship. It is the speaker, and it is also the listener. Good morning, Reverend Celestine, all the way from Rocky Mount. I always appreciate your comments. My godmother's on the line, Dr. Miss Hazel Board. Happy birthday to you as well. And so let's get started. I want to tell you, first of all, that there are about 5 different categories of these people in a relationship. If you're taking notes, I want to tell you this morning, they're called avoiders. Listen to this: pleasers, vacillators, controllers, and victims. Oh my goodness. Listen, it's worth writing down. I'm going to give you a PowerPoint next week, but I just wanted to have some real talk with some real people in some real conversations about relationships. Listen, there are 5 different groups: avoiders, pleasers, vacillators, controllers, and victims. I'm going to say it one more time because this is life-changing for someone. Listen, avoiders are those people who say, I don't need anyone. Who is it that I'm speaking to today? That you're in a relationship with someone that every time you turn around, they are always trying to make it all about them. It's their show, it's their way. Listen, it's all about them. Somebody's already got somebody in mind while I'm talking to you already. Listen, these avoiders, they say they feel like they can live in this world by themselves. But I got good news for you, that the pandemic has shown us, I don't care how good you are or how efficient you are, the pandemic has shown us that no man is an island by himself. Who am I speaking to today that will say to me, Williams, you're on my roll already on a Saturday morning? I ain't got but 60 minutes and I'm going in hard this morning, because there are those who feel like they're in a relationship. It takes 2 to tango. And the reality is, listen to this, that when you say fellowship, my mentor says it takes 2 fellas in the ship to fellowship. Come on, somebody help me right there real good. I'm trying to help somebody today that you cannot contend that you're in a relationship and you say it's all about you. No, my friend. I'm telling you right now that if you're in a relationship and you think it's all about you, this is a wonderful place for you to stop and assess. Is it all about you? Every time you need your satisfaction, sometimes you ought to stop and realize that there's somebody else in the ship. And guess what? You would be well served to take a moment and assess what their needs are too. It makes for a wonderful picture. I agree with you. Dr. Apostle Samuels, she put in the chat, we are created to interact with others. We are designed. Not only that, and guess who? Some of that other is our Heavenly Father. Oh my goodness. Reverend Celestine, I agree with you as well. Listen. It takes two. The reality is we do God the same way. In relationship. Who am I speaking to on today? When's the last time you got down on your knees or in a quiet space and you say, God, what do you want? It's not always about what I want, because can I tell you something? In relationships, communication is two-way. Oh my goodness. I want to tell you, good morning, Deacon Suggs, all the way from down in Greenville, North Carolina. Listen, you got avoiders. And if you're an avoider, your prayer this morning is, Father, expand my territory. Make me more sensitive to the other person in this relationship. I want to help somebody today, because at the end of the day, it's more than just you. It takes more than one person in any type of relationship. I'm thinking about a work relationship right now, that there are those who go to work and think it's all about them. They got their own cubicle, they got their own space, they got their own job. But here's the thing. You're not the company. It takes more than you. And this pandemic, once again, my cousin with her beautiful self, cousin Cynthia, all the way down in ATL. Good morning this morning. I'm trying to help somebody this morning to understand, if you're in a relationship and you are an avoider, your prayer is, God, expand my territory. Because you may be missing out on a wonderful thing right in front of you. Then you have these pleasers. Oh my goodness. I tell you right now, I got some people who are pleasers. Listen to this. Pleasers say, I am responsible to maintain happiness. Oh my goodness. And well-being of others. Because conflict and rejection are deadly and to be avoided at all costs. Some people feel like they were created to please others. And that's good in a way, but you assume burdens that really you don't have the tools to unpack. Who am I speaking to today? That you feel like you are in this relationship as the pleaser. I want to tell you that's dangerous, because the reality is it's not healthy, because at the end of the day, you too have needs. Who am I speaking to today? When's the last time you had somebody to address your needs? I'm talking about straight up your needs. Sometimes you need to be affirmed. You just need to know, I appreciate what you did today. I heard that wonderful gesture that you did. Listen, I know what you did was off the radar, but I want you to know that it's appreciated. Every person, hear me when I talk to you today, that even if you are a pleaser, you have needs too. And this is why we want to promote healthy, happy relationships. Because in the end, if all you're doing is pleasing, Lord, help me to tell this story on today, that you are living beneath your privilege, because they're deep down, peel that onion back, and you're going to find out you need to be affirmed also. Listen. I want to talk to somebody today that in this thing called a relationship are avoiders. Then you have these pleasers. And I agree with Apostle, because she says pleasers usually deplete themselves. Listen, and here's the thing. It's like a caregiver. My grandmother used to say this: be careful when you are a pleaser, because sometimes you will end up checking out, because the burden is so great that everything about you, you feel like you are born to please. But I got good news for you today, that if you look back, 3 John 2, listen to what it says. My brethren, I wished above all that thou would prosper and be in good health. Listen, even as your soul prosper. What John was arguing was a holistic approach. That simply means you can't just be a pleaser. You got to also be someone that can receive the pleasing. Who am I speaking to on today? Listen, you ought to take time out. And if don't nobody else please you, I had to check somebody, apostle, and I told them sometimes I take my own self out to dinner. Who am I speaking to on today? Because sometimes you need to be affirmed yourself. I know I'm talking good. Sometimes I have gotten on the mail and sent my own self a card. I know I'm talking good on a Saturday morning because every person needs a healthy, holistic relationship. So we have these avoiders, we have these pleasers, and I want to tell you, then we also have what we call these vacillators. Listen to a vacillator. My spouse is the problem. Oh my goodness. My spouse is the problem in the relationship. Or my coworker is the problem. Every time I turn around, it's the coworker. There is nothing I can do to improve my relationship because my spouse or partner won't change. I need my other partner to take away my bad feelings. Who is it that can say, I'm in a relationship with somebody that's a vacillator? And can I tell you something? Vacillators, you can easily identify them because it's always somebody else's problem. Can I talk real good? This is real talk on a Saturday morning. Listen, at the end of the day, we all have boundaries and we all sometimes miss the mark. I don't care who you are. We were humans and we're humans by design. And that human makes us codependent. Lord have mercy. There it is right there on someone else. Now, the reality is when you're in a relationship, work, home, church, wherever it is, and the other person is always right. Listen, that's the problem. I want to stop and tell you today that we should take inventory of ourselves. And if you're in a relationship with someone like immature person, I agree. The reality is you can't help someone until you first see yourself. There's an old hymn in the African American experience. It says, it's not my mother, it's not my brother, it's not my father or my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Who am I speaking to today? When was the last time you took inventory of your own shortcomings? Listen. The good book teaches us this. Be careful about trying to get the mote out of your neighbor's eye until you get it out of yours first. When I tell you, all you got to do is turn the light from the lighthouse down on your soul. And if you do that, I promise you now, you'll find that there are some things that you can improve about yourself. Vacillators never see themselves as the problem. They never see that they have any contribution. I'm thinking about somebody on the job I work with. And the reality is they say, this job, these people, this company, but they never have any contribution that they say that they're a part of the problem as well. And I want to submit to you today, if you're a vacillator, your prayer is to pray like in the Bible, Lord, create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit within me. I want to tell you that's in Psalms. And I'm telling you right now, the reality is that God hates a proud spirit. God bless you, Apostle. It's always good to see you. Thank you for dropping in this morning. I love you so much. Listen, I want to tell you today, who is it that's a vacillator? Or who is it that will, God bless you, Sister Satchel. I know some as well. And here's the thing. What we can do is we can put tools in place to help them by saying things like, when's the last time we took inventory of ourselves? Like if I had to list, here's an exercise for vacillators. You ask them, list your strengths on one side and your weaknesses on the other. Who am I speaking to on today? And if you got nothing but strengths and no weaknesses, you got a problem. because we all are human. The reality is, my father, late Dave Williams, used to say this. He said, listen, when they created the pencil, they put an eraser on the end because they knew that humans would be using the instrument and that these humans might just inadvertently make a mistake. So there it is right there. These people are vacillators, and they never even, Mr. Flanagan, I totally agree. Part of the problem with an vacillator is they know they got some issues, and because some people are so arrogant they just won't admit it, and that's the real issue, right? So the truth of the matter is, when you will at least admit your shortcomings, it sets us up for this word called, you ready for this? Humility. All of us need a dose of humility, because when you put humility in, it forces you to see yourself from the other person's perspective. There's a word for that called empathy, by the way. And when these vacillators, when they began to exercise themselves, they don't put themselves in the other person's shoe. It's always somebody else. Number one, you got these avoiders. Number two, these pleasers. Number three, these vacillators. And then number four, these controllers. Woo, stop right there. Can I put a quarter in the meter? I want to park right there for a moment. That in these relationships, you got people who are controllers. They're not happy unless they're the shot caller. But I want to tell you something. Even the shot caller sometimes have to have a shot called on them. Woo, that's a good place right there for me to anchor down for a moment. Listen, these controllers, I have to control and intimidate in order to get what I want. They told me in my leadership journey that the essence of a true leader is your power of influence, not your domineering. Somebody done told you wrong. This is real talk for real people this morning. And I'm suggesting to you that when you have to use intimidation and you have to use a domineering influence, it is to suggest that you don't have the influence that you thought you had. Because check this out. In leadership, they call it transformational leadership. I'm talking good to somebody today. A transformational leader uses their charismatic influence to the point that the person who is receiving ultimately takes the goal or the mission and they ultimately think it's theirs. Who am I speaking to on today? You want to talk about the power of influence. You don't have to use that domineering, controlling influence. What it says is that the reality is you don't have no charismatic influence. I want to stop by and talk to those controllers. Put that fist down, put that anger down, put that frustration down, and pick up some charismatic, free, influential influence. There it is right there. I'm saying it. I'm sticking to it. God bless you, Miss Priscilla, all the way from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You know that I love you good. I'm telling you right now that these controllers, the reality is what the literature says. You ready for this? If you peel back the layers in the controller, you will find that they in themselves have a deficit. And it's a defense mechanism that they're trying to keep you from seeing the real them deep down on the inside. Oh my goodness, I'm talking to somebody good today. When was the last time you used your charismatic influence to achieve a goal? Rather than trying to use this intimidating, domineering, and it's almost violent position to get what you want. I stopped by today to tell you that that's not a healthy, happy relationship, because there's a cycle that the book talks about. Oh, good morning, Sister Janie, all the way from up north this morning. We bless your soul real good today. I'm telling you right now that these controllers, if you have to use intimidation and dominance, you're going about it the wrong way. And here's the thing. At some point, that train's going to stop. And when you realize it, someone that you were really caring about, they're going to be empty and they're not going to be there. Oh, I know I'm talking good. So we have avoiders, pleasers, vacillators, controllers, and then finally, in relationships, we have the victim. let me tell you, the victims, and I'm very sensitive to this. Oh my gosh, God bless you, Sister Brenda Dillahunt. Oh, I love you real good. Listen today, a victim says, if I tried harder in my relationship, my partner wouldn't get so angry. Here it is right here. Sometimes people have this sense of being the victim. And I stopped by to tell you, as we've already shown you on some of our other sessions, that the person who is the what we call the person who is inflicting the pain, usually you don't have anything to do with the fact that they got some problems on the inside of them. And what you have to come to realize today, I want to slow down and talk real good to the victim, because sometimes you're toting a burden that you don't have anything to do with. The fact is that the inflictor has some issues within them that they need to work out. And you happen to be what we call a collateral damage. It just so happens that you are the person that they release the infidelity on, they release this violence on, they release these uncontrollable, unhealthy behaviors on. But the reality is, if you stop and you peel back the layers, the inflictor is dealing with problems deep down on the inside also. Isn't that amazing? And what they found out, the literature says, hurt people hurt others. Oh, I want to talk with you real good today, that you ought to tell yourself, put your hand on your heart and say, I'm not the problem. No, you need to tell yourself, if you're carrying this burden, you need to release it today. Let March the 5th be your vindication day, and you tell yourself, I am not the problem. I know I'm talking good to somebody today. You've been toting this burden around by somebody saying, why did they cheat on me? Why would they be so abusive to me? Why are they so mean to me? And the reality is, it has nothing to do with you, but the person has to look within themselves who is doing the inflicting. And they've got to agree at the end of the day that they themselves need some therapy. And if you're not careful, I've seen some good people tote burdens that they don't even deserve. And you have to tell yourself, I'm not the problem. Would you do that for me today? Set your soul free. And let's talk about it for a moment. Here's the thing. In every relationship, you ready for this? It has troubling, repetitive patterns that cause irritations and dissatisfaction. Think about it. If in work, there's somebody that you know, even when I said that every time you think about them, it's something that triggers something. Oh my goodness, I know I'm talking good. But there's the root cause to this pattern, and often related and attached to some type of injury. What I'm saying to you is, at some point, either you will learn to recognize and pull out the core pattern, or your core pattern will continue to dominate your relationship. Can I say that again? Yes, thank you. Either you will learn to recognize and pull out those core patterns, or your core patterns will continue to dominate your relationship. It's another way of saying, listen, you're caught in this cycle. When are you going to break the cycle? That's the question I want to ask someone today. How long will you allow this situation to continue to take you on a seesaw? You know it's a core pattern, because it's like there are times you're up and this situation can come, you can think about it, and then you take this dive automatically. What I'm telling you is that you will either learn to grab hold of the pattern and say you will no longer have authority, or the pattern will continue to take you on this uncomfortable ride. Now, here's the thing. You got to grab hold to it. Remember what I said. If you can't talk about it, it can't heal. There it is right there. I'm setting somebody free. If you're in a relationship of any kind that you can't talk about it, it's unhealthy. God bless you, Pastor Black. Today, it's always good to see you, my friend. You know this. I'm trying to help somebody today. How can you overcome the pull of a core pattern? Well, first, you have to own your style and work through the growth pattern. Sometimes you can't fix what you can't acknowledge. Who am I speaking to today? That if you know you are a controller, what you have to say is, God, help me in this area. And then when you begin to acknowledge it, I'm telling you, that's the first step. Many of us will agree that if you're going to fix something, the first thing you got to do is acknowledge it. I'm trying to move forward. I got some other practical tools today that I want to set you free with. Listen, when you're in a relationship and the partner is moving towards becoming a secure connector, the reality is the core pattern will weaken. Listen to this. Now, so the more you put into it, the weaker the pattern becomes. Thank you. I'm trying to help somebody today. You can guarantee yourself this. If you work on it, God knows it will decrease. But if you don't work on it, it will sit there and build capacity, and build capacity. And then watch this. The least little thing, it'll cause it to set off. And here we go on this cycle once again. But I declare unto you, you ought to put your flag in the ground and declare that every single day I'm going to work on it. I'm going to pray about it. And listen, then I'm going to speak it into the atmosphere. I know I'm talking good today. Somebody is declaring that the cycle will break on today. Who is it that's saying, listen to this today, that this cycle must break? You know it's a cycle because you can get just so happy climbing up the mountain and then bam, here it comes all over again and you plummeting back down into the valley. You ought to plant your flag in the ground today and declare that this cycle must break. And I'm telling you right now, and anything connected to the cycle, if you don't break, I got to turn you loose. Yep, I'm talking about some real talk on Saturday morning. The reality is when you get ready to break the cycle, that this cycle now, the more you work on it, the weaker the pattern will become. But I declare unto you, if you don't work on it, it will sit there and fester and fester and fester. And guess what? When you know anything, it's got a hold of you instead of you having a hold of it. Now, I want to talk real briefly about these listening skills, because think about this. In the relationship, I want you to take this away. I'm trying to help somebody have a healthy, happy relationship that God gave us from our anatomy. Listen to this. He was sending us a message. He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Would you process that for a moment? The fact that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is to suggest that we ought to do twice as much listening as we do speaking. I'm trying to help somebody today that there is this overwhelming tendency as humans that we got to get, ready for this, the last word. And sometimes that's not the most healthy approach when you're in a relationship, that you're in pursuit of a healthy, happy relationship. Now, this author talks about 4 keys of listening. Listen to this. The author says that there are 4 keys to listening. I want to help somebody today as a faith leader, as a pastor, as a counselor. What I try to get people to understand, 9 times out of 10, if you get to the core of the real problem, somebody was not listening. And they were spending more time trying to talk, trying to get their point across, trying to be manipulative. But the best tool, I'm trying to help somebody today, the best tool is to do twice as much listening as we do talking. Now listen to this. The author says there are 4 keys to effective listening. Number 1, ask the speaker to stop periodically so you can summarize what you're hearing. There's nothing any sweeter than being in a conversation and somebody says, now, hold on for a moment. Let me make sure I heard what you're saying. Am I correct in hearing so? Listen, I'm going to give you some tools in just a second, but I'm trying to help somebody. When there is tension, one of the best tools is listening. The 4 keys to listening. Number 1 is ask the speaker to pause periodically so that you can summarize what you have heard. When is the last time that you were in a conversation and you paused, asked the speaker, hold on for a moment, Let me make sure I heard what you said. It is a powerful, practical tool because what it says to the speaker is that you are here and you're present. Because you do know that you can be here and not present. Can I say that again? That you can be in the room, oh Lord have mercy, and still not be present. Well, somebody wrote a song. I know some of y'all been, in church all your life, but one author wrote a song and said, your body is here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. Lord have mercy. I'm here today to talk to somebody today. That rule number one is stop the speaker every so often and ask them, can I summarize what you are saying? This is what I'm hearing thus far. Number two, repeat in your own words what you heard and check for accuracy. Because when you do that, it allows the speaker to autocorrect if what you have processed is not the right thing. Oh, somebody said, this sounds so easy. Reverend, I thought you were going to give me a bombshell. Let me help you real good. One of the most effective tools in relationships is the art of listening. It is a wonderful foundation. Number one, ask the speaker to stop periodically so you can summarize what you're hearing. Number two, repeat in your own words what you've heard and check for accuracy. Number three, ask questions that will increase your understanding. We're going to give you some in just a few seconds. And then number four, respond with empathy. Listen to this. I see what you're saying. Well, I can see how you might feel that way. My friend, it is disarming the tension in the room. Because 2/3, I'm telling you, of the people that I see sitting across from the desk, they just want to be heard. And I'm trying to arm somebody today in a relationship. You're on a quest to a healthy, happy relationship. Well, first of all, you have to be an effective listener. These four keys to listening are foundational. Now, here's some things I want you to think about. When you're listening, you have to control defensiveness. I don't know about you, but when a person coming at me sideways, I immediately want to get defensive. But I'm telling you, that's not the art of listening. When you're in the art of listening, oh my gosh, I want to help somebody today. You have to learn to control that defensiveness. Don't react so fast. Pay attention to your nonverbal responses. Can I talk with you as a public speaker? Your body language is saying more than your verbal language. Ooh, I know I need to talk to somebody real good. There's no way you can be in a relationship talking to somebody and your face is frowned up. Listen, your fist. I remember talking to someone, I was counseling them, and while they were talking, their fist was balled up. I said, my friend, what you got to do is dial back some of the defensiveness, because you can't make any progress when you are defensive and you react too fast. And then you got to watch your nonverbal responses. Remember now that when your defenses go up, listen to this, the quality of your listening goes down. Somebody right there, if I'm on your row and you agree with it, you ought to type in, I like the relationship or the ratio. Watch this. The ratio is simple. When your defenses go up, the quality of your listening goes down. So if you want more quality of listening for it to go up, then your defenses must go down. Who am I speaking to on today? I'm trying to help somebody who is in pursuit of a healthy, happy relationship. Listen, it's a ratio, and the literature is clear. You cannot be defensive and then declare that your listening skills are on their best as well. No, my friend. I'm telling you, when you're in conflict resolution, I dare you to practice the art of listening. It will diffuse tension every single time. You say, give me a scripture, because a kind word turns away wrath. Let me help you real good. The reality is that you have to learn to govern your defenses. And when you have the art of my cousin O is on the line. Ava, God bless you all the way from Greensboro. You know I love you good. I'm trying to tell you right now that it's a ratio. So today, before this broadcast is over, I want you to practice it. The next time you get in a contentious, turbulent, tumultuous relationship conversation, I dare you to put your defenses down and watch your listening skills go up. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful skill that you have to practice. Now, what I want to also tell you is let's talk about some listening questions. I hope that this is blessing you on today. When you're in a conversation, I want you to find somebody today and ask them one of these questions. When I tell you, it'll turn that conversation upside down. Listen to this. Don't ask why. This is often accusational and accusatory and difficult to answer. Why did you do that? Well, if you want to go back, because sometimes that answer, you ready for this, might take you all the way back to their childhood. Now, if you're not ready to unpack all that, don't ask those kind of questions, because the reality is that may be a loaded question for a very brief conversation. What I'm trying to help somebody with is the strengthening the art of listening. That's what today is about, is this wonderful art of listening. Miss Priscilla, I agree with you also. When your defenses go up, the quality of your listening goes down. I totally agree, and I practice that all the time. Sometimes, y'all ready for this? I've been in relationships with people, and it was obvious that they were tense. It was obvious that they was, trying to de-escalate and give all their energy. And sometimes it'd be on the phone, and they trying to, just give me the business. And then all of a sudden, Sister Ava, they'll say, "Are you there?" "Oh, yes, I'm here." It's the art of listening. I'm trying to help somebody today that the art of listening is a powerful de-escalation tool, but it takes some art. I want to help you today. When you're in those conversations, ask questions like this. Tell me more. I want to understand. Let me talk to somebody today. You ought to write that one down. It'll set you free every single time, because what it says to the speaker is, not only do I hear you, I want to know more. Give me some more of what you're saying. Now, that's the art of listening. What you're trying to do is if you can get it out of them, you can heal. Remember these words. If you can't talk about it, you can't get no healing. It's a wonderful art. First of all, tell me more. If you're in a situation and you're stuck, Sister Ethel, and you can't figure out how to move the conversation forward, all you have to do is say things like, "Tell me more about how you feel." Let me help somebody today. It's a wonderful tool to de-escalate some conflict resolution, because what you're ultimately trying to establish to the speaker is that I want you to know that I'm listening. And how about this one? How does that make you feel? Ooh, can I tell you? Can I tell you, Sister Brenda, how many times I've used that in conflict resolution? Let me tell you something. It'll set you free every single time. Somebody needs to know that these is the art of listening. Sister Marlo, I agree with you as well. Listen, when you're stuck and you can't move the progress forward, you ought to ask these listening questions like, well, how does that make you feel? Or how about this one? How long have you been feeling this way? Ooh, thank you, Father. I'm trying to help somebody today to practice and hone in on your listening skills. Listening is an art, by the way, and it must be practiced on a regular basis. How about this one? Do you feel anything in addition to what you have just shared? Let me tell you, if you can get the person to talk about it, I'm arming you with success on today, because the reality is the speaker, they're trying to just get it out. They're bottled up on the inside. And I just want to share with you today that if you can get the speaker to continue to talk, what they don't realize is you're setting them free. Oh, my good friend, Sister Lisa Lamont, God bless you, always to see you all the way from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm trying to tell somebody today that if you can talk about it, all you got to do is to practice your listening skills. Listen to this one. Are there other times you have felt this way? Oh my goodness, what you're trying to tell this person is that their words matter. This is called the art of listening. And I'm telling you right now, I'll put my money on it. Typically, everyone who is doing the speaking, they're trying to be heard. So when you say things like, are there other times you felt this way? When was that? Lord have mercy. What you're trying to tell the person is, I'm listening. Now, here's another good one. You ready for this one? I've been waiting to tell you this one. Well, when you shared that, what were you hoping to accomplish? My friend, this is called the art of listening. And what you're wanting to try to do is to get that speaker to understand that you're not in this by yourself. And actually, I'm listening to you in so many ways. Now, let me just tell you, here's a wonderful one. I want you to definitely practice this one. The literature says if you can get the speaker to quantize it, you have almost won the battle. Listen to this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your feeling? So what you're asking them is what you're talking about now. I hear what you're saying, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your feeling about this? Now, if that person say this is a 12, you need to understand that they're screaming that they want to be heard. Now, here's another de-escalation tool. This is a question in the art of listening. I can tell you're really upset. Do you think something triggered these intense emotions? Oh my gosh. Let me tell you today, you ought to write that one down because I'll say it again. I can tell you're really upset. This is in de-escalation practical application. The next time it's way on 10, you ought to ask them, my friend, I can tell you're really upset. Do you think something triggered these intense emotions? Because what you want to do is to get them to speak about it. Remember, I told you, if you can't speak about it, you can't get no healing. And the more you speak about it, the greater that healing is coming. So I stopped by to tell somebody today, the art of listening. Now, here's another one I want to share. Deacon Suggs, this is for you. Ask the person in the relationship, if you could share what you're feeling right now with just someone, either in the present or the past, who would it be? Ooh, I'm telling you now. And then watch this. And then you say, what would you say to that person? In other words, forget me. Just take me out of the picture. But if you had somebody that you could just talk with right now about this frustration, who would it be? Because they're giving you a glimpse into their value system. Somebody that they value. You want to know who that person is. And then you also want to know what they would tell them. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you right now, Sister Marlo, I agree. These listening questions are powerful. I'm here today to give some practical application to somebody who wants to increase their art of listening. I'm here to tell you that this one right here is powerful. What does your body feel like right now? Can I tell you something? There's a book called The Body Tells the Score. I stopped by to tell somebody that many people who are carrying these burdens, their body actually tells the score. You ready for this? Can't tell you how many times I've talked to people across from my desk and their blood pressure is up, their anxiety is out the roof, chest pains. Listen, when you're in these stressful situations, Dr. Roy Swan, God bless you this morning, all the way from Winston-Salem, a preacher in his own right. God bless you this morning. I want to tell you that the body tells the score. Your vision, dizzy, headaches. Who am I speaking to on today? These are all things that your body is speaking to you on that you need some de-escalation. And you, as the listener, you can really set them free. Ask them, this situation that you're talking about, how does it make you feel in your body? Do you have sweating, uncontrollable tension? Listen, I'm here to tell you that your body, if you listen, will tell you the real score. I'm telling you right now, it's called the art of listening. And then you have to close the discourse. Now, listen, all my friends, they know that I'm an action-oriented person. You're not going to get my time. I'm here to tell you now without me giving you an action item. That simply means that after we get through meeting, after we get through talking, we need an action item to follow up on to say that there was progress from the conversation. And I'm here today to help someone. You ready for this? That when you get to the end of your listening session, you want to always ask an action item question. And I'm here today to give you at least one. You ask them, so what do you need? My friends, I'm telling you right now, this is liberating to someone who is really on the brink of coming apart. Because ultimately what you're saying to them is, I heard you. Now what we're going to do about it. Can I tell you, I'm a leader and I receive, conflict. I receive criticisms. I receive all those things. Matter of fact, I just told a group of people last night, you can say anything you want to me. But here's the thing. Just as long as you say it respectfully. I want to talk to somebody about that as well. My good friend, Walter Bradley III. Oh my gosh, what a great day it is to see you. And my homie of all homies, Dr. Daryl Knapp, all the way from Winston-Salem. Listen, I'm telling you right now, when you get through, every good leader is going to force you to an action item. You don't want to be a chronic complainer. Let me speak to someone today that when you're in conflict resolution, you must push the conversation to an action item. What do you need? Now, listen, I've had to sit there. Sometimes it's grueling to get to this action item question. Don't rush them. Give them time to talk themselves out. But when they finish, you ask them, what you need? Because here's the thing. Now, I'm a leader that when you bring me a complaint, what I want you to also do is to bring me your recommendation. Oh, there it is right there, my friends. I'm trying to help somebody this morning that if you're going to complain about it, you ought to at least put enough energy in it to try to at least bring a solution. Who am I speaking to today? And this will help you in conflict resolution. Let the person talk. And then when they finish, now you'll figure out if they're a chronic complainer. Because can I put a quarter in the meter and just talk about this for a moment? Some people are chronic complainers. They don't want no solution. They just want to take up your time and fill it with negative energy. And I stop by to tell you, I check them at the door. I listen to them. And then at some point, I'm going to ask, what do you need? Because if all you're doing is just chewing on the rag, as my dad say, and you ain't really trying to make no progress, I'm not the one. But if you have an issue and you want to talk about it, then at the end of the conversation, a good listener in the art of listening is going to challenge you to an action item. And in this case, my friends, it is, what do you need? Somebody ought to write that down today. Now, can I tell you that this whole concept of listening is really down. I want to share this other concept with you as well. I cannot get off without sharing this with you. The reality is, when was the last time you went through a detoxing? I've been waiting all morning. My time is just about out, but this is a good place for me to talk right now. The detoxing your mind. Can I help somebody today that you cannot allow your personal space to be consumed with all this negativity? Oh, yes, I don't mind you coming to me and expressing yourself, but at some point, I have to detox myself. Somebody today, if I'm talking good, you ought to at least type in the chat, you on my road. The reality is, it's okay in the relationships to work towards conflict resolution, but some point, you have to detox. Listen to this. Take time for your own mind and your bodily and from your own adrenaline. Do you know that the science says that when you are in a tense situation, that your body creates these enzymes that are not healthy? And so the reality is, if you stay in that too long, my friends, it's unhealthy for you. It's okay to be in conflict resolution. I don't have no problem with that. But I'm trying to help somebody today. The word is called detox. My time is just about out today, but I'm here to tell somebody, even in the art of listening, I've got some more practical tools around listening as well. But I wanted to make sure that you understood that this art of listening, listen, at some point you have to detox. You have to basically take a moment out for you, because your body tells the score also. And if your anxiety is up, take a moment of detoxing. Remember what I said about those boundaries? Sometimes you have to have boundaries that are physical. That simply means there are times I cut my phone off. Who am I speaking to today? There are times I cut my computer off. Yes, I got work to do, but at the end of the day, I'm no good to the job if I'm no good to myself. Oh my gosh, I know I'm talking good on a Saturday morning. Sometimes you have to detox. And I want to close today by asking and challenging you, even in the midst of all your pursuit of healthy, happy relationships, I want to tell you, you have to detox. There are times you have to unplug from family. And sometimes I've had to tell them, fam, ain't nothing wrong. Listen, I'm good, but I just need to tell you over the next 24 hours, listen, I'm going to be unavailable. It's because at some point you have to realize that you too, your body will tell the score for you. You cannot be under that level of stress all the time. It's not healthy for you. And just keep in mind that your body produces these hormones when you're in those very stressful situations. That's why you have to detox. Get your mind, get your body. Check out from that anxiety. Check out from that constant stress. And I want to tell you something. Somebody said, well, how do you do it? Great. In my closing today, find some music. I'm a jazz man myself. When folk get on my nerve, and they do get on my nerve, I go and grab me some jazz music, and I got some high-end equipment, and it sounds just like I'm in a studio. Yes, it takes me somewhere. Who am I speaking to today? Listen, how do you detox? And this is something maybe you ought to think about today as we close. How do you detox? For me, it's good music. I love good music. And I want to tell you something. Sometimes it's deep breathing. I told one of my students, it's called deep four-square breathing. You breathe 4 squares, 1,000 each one, 1,000 each one. I'm telling you right now, a square 4,000, 1,000, another breathing, and another breathing. It's called 4 square breathing. And I'm telling you, it has saved me from saying the wrong thing. Sometimes folks come at you unexpectedly. I got about 3 minutes left, but I want to talk to you about some square breathing. I start at the top and I go all the way to 10, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1000, all the way to 1010. Then I go down 1001, 1002, all the way down to 1010, come back down to 1010, and then I go back up. And sometimes it calls them not to meet Leroy. Oh my goodness, because I want to tell you something right now. If you're not sharp and you stay under that tension too long, somebody say, who is Leroy? It's my alter ego. Yes, you don't want to meet Leroy. Lamont's the one that you want to come on the scene, because when Leroy shows up, it's not a good day. Who am I speaking to that can say, I got an alter ego too? I don't know who yours is. Maybe you ought to type it in the chat and who your alter ego is. The literature says you ought to name it so that, listen, I was on a plane just recently and I was on the inside. I got about a minute and a half left. And I was on the inside of the row. And these two people, it was a red-eye flight. So it was real early in the morning. And I had to use the bathroom. And they didn't want to let me out. I cleared my voice and all that. When I finally got, excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. Well, we get ready to have a situation. The lady and her husband were the two people in the seat. When they finally got up, it wasn't a good day. And they were huffing and puffing. And I was trying to go to the bathroom. It was one right there on the end where I was going. They said, go the other way. I said to them, don't say nothing, Leroy. Trying to help somebody. My time is out today. I hope you can appreciate. You need to name your alter ego. And when you do it, it'll help you to de-escalate. Also, find some relaxing exercises. Go out for a walk. Literature says We know that those are healthy ways to detox. I love you today. I have been on a quest to give you some practical tools on how to improve the art of listening. Can I pray for you today? My time is up. I love you with the love of God, and there's nothing you can do about it. Father, we thank you now for this time that is well spent. We ask, Lord, that something will be said to help somebody improve their art of listening, for we know, Father, that it is your good will for us to be good listeners, because at the end of the day, you listen to us and our complaints. What a wonderful picture you have painted, that you are so good to us, that you listen to our complaints, our problems, our situations. And sometimes, Father, you don't say anything until the time is right. We praise you today. Bless every person, and may your love overpower each of us. Until next time. That's all I have for you today. I love you with the love of the Lord. We will be back with those boundaries and some practical ways to implement boundaries. You do not want to miss that. I'm telling you, next week. Until that time, I love you with the love of the Lord, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I always close with this statement: if you can't love all of me, then leave all of me right where you found me. God bless you, and peace until the next time.